Hello, I am just popping on here to see if I can do a hopefully short video for you on how I do these mosaic centers in my flowers. I think they're really fun. I think they're kind of different, and I think they look far more complicated than they are, so I thought I'd show you how I do it. Keep in mind, I am not an expert at this, like some of you clearly are from some of the beautiful things that I have seen. I've only been doing it a couple of months, but I'm just loving it. I'm addicted. I'm so hooked on making these flowers and also on dotting these centers. So thought I would hopefully be able to share something with you guys, because I haven't seen very many videos or anything showing this kind of technique. So anyway, it's fun to give back. This is less about making the flower than it is about making the center, but I just had some questions about that too, so I figured I'd go ahead and do it. I'm going to do a very speedy version, so I don't know how this is going to turn out. Probably not all that wonderful, but it's worth a shot just to show you. I started off with a drop of eggplant. It was right in the center. Once that was dried, I added a drop of pitch black. And then around the outside is Piñata, señorita, magenta. Every time I say that, I want to say margarita. Ha! Can you tell where my head is? Anyway, that's that. And this is a blend. I love using these little bottles to blend alcohol and color so that it kind of dilutes the ink and works a little better than just using drops of regular alcohol, because it really has a more vibrant color, I think, that way. So anyway, every single day I scroll through this group and see what kinds of things people have been doing and save pictures of things I want to try. And one of the things I saw yesterday was somebody talking about that she had blended, I think, purple and alcohol and maybe gold, and then she had added snowcap, and I thought, oh, that could be fun to try. So I already had a mix of eggplant, alcohol, and silver in this little bottle, so today I added some snowcap, and I might have thrown in a drop or two of gold too, I can't remember, but anyway, it's fun to work with. So I'm using my airbrush, so excuse the sound of the air compressor. This is just my favorite way to work. I also have a fan going on in here, because I always use the exhaust fan with a good breeze going through the room, even though it's a gloomy, cold Northeast Ohio day, and it's drab and gray and cold out there, so it's getting a little chilly in my room, but best to be safe. So it's actually so dark that I had to set up one of my photography lights. I'm a baby photographer, so I set up a little light to the side, so when it makes bad shadows, it's because I've got the light here right next to it. But I'll work mostly with this hand, so it won't be shadowed all the time for you. So anyway, that's enough background, I think. We'll move those off and get started. I like to drop the ink so that it overlaps all the colors, so that way if you give it a second to soften them up, it pulls those colors when you blow it. I am hooked on watching videos, and somebody, it might have been Vivo Vintage maybe, had a video on making fast flower petals, and she just kind of blew back and forth after she put the drops on, and it really puts pretty colors in the petals. Pretty color variation, I guess I should say. Might have been Scary Hair Lady too, I'm not sure. Could have let that one sit a little longer. I have gotten totally hooked. I'm totally hooked on watching YouTube videos. I think I have logged more hours on YouTube in the last month than my teenager, and that is really saying something. One of my other favorites is Miriam's Nature, Miriam with a Y. I actually kind of like that just as it is. I don't know if I really want to add anything more to it or not. Sometimes I get carried away and I keep going when I really should have stopped. I feel like I might need one more over here. I hate how the ink pools around the edges. I try and blow it off, but I usually just wind up trimming my page a little bit at the end. Let me lift this up and take a look at it. I feel like I need one more. Here I go, one more, one more, one more. There we go, that's not too bad. Okay, so I'm gonna stop with that now because like I said, it's really more about the center than it is about making that flower in the first place. And everybody has their own style of petals, whether they're more roughly looking or smoother. The first thing I did that got me really hooked on this was take a class, I think it was called Beautiful Blooms from Christine Kalman, and she always does a drop of black in the center and then blows out her colors from there, and that's where I learned that part. She also pointed me to Kimberly Dean, who does beautiful work, and I have done some of her classes as well. She makes beautiful soft petals. So anyway, everybody has their own style, so you can make your flower however you want to make your flower, but I'm going to show you how to do those centers now. So the main thing you need for this is a palette, and then a couple of these little micro brushes. These are awesome. So this is nice and easy. All I do is get these wet with alcohol or ink or a combination and make dots. The first dots you make are bigger. As you keep going, your dots wind up getting smaller just because of the amount of alcohol or ink that's on your brush. So that's really pretty much it. If you use plain alcohol, it tends to lift and get white, but I like to start that way and see what colors pull out of what you had already put underneath. So I'm just going to put a little bit of regular alcohol in one of these and try not to splash my picture. I'm really good at doing that. Sometimes I will dab it off so that the first drop is not too big, but then just start making dots. And because you used different colors, you're going to get different colors showing up for your center. And since black blows into so many beautiful colors on its own, you can get a variety just from the pitch black. So just keep making dots. Hopefully this is coming across okay. I try not to be too orderly, but I find that really hard. I always seem to want to just like go all the way around the outside or do them in some sort of pattern, and so it's a struggle for me not to do that. But I love, look at this, this is only alcohol on this brush, and look at all the colors, because it's pulling out everything underneath. So at some point, you're going to get to where if you keep going, your drops are going to be on top of each other, and you really don't want them to wind up too much on top of each other, too wet, because they spread out and become blobs. So I have to dry in between things. But honestly, I love the look of it, even just with using the alcohol. But then you can use different colors. And I really love just taking my old dirty palette and adding a couple drops of alcohol into one of the spots, trying to soften up some of that ink that's up the sides. And using different colors right out of my palette, using the same brush. If you use the same brush, then it will have some of the old color still on it. So that you get more variation and they don't look solid or uniform. You can also dot on top of dots if you have one that's too big and you don't like it. But if you can see, and I hope that you can see, it pushes that alcohol ink, pushes the alcohol pushes the ink underneath out as it spreads, and so you kind of wind up with a dark border, and they really just start to take on the feel of a mosaic. And unlike with the petals, where I feel like I can very easily get too carried away and I need to know when to stop, doing the centers like this, I kind of feel like you almost can't mess up. I mean, you can just keep going. And if you don't like how something looks, you can do more dots of something else on top of it. So I'm trying to do a little bit of a defined edge because I feel like that gives it dimension, gives it a little depth. But then I'll go mix other stuff in with these dots too. And here's something else. See this dark section from that ink underneath? If you've got a spot that's too dark like that, if you take a little bit of the alcohol and get that wet, then you can take a Q-tip or maybe a tissue and you can blot some of that up. Trying to get fuzz all over your picture though. And then when you come back in there again with more, it should start to lighten up and blend in a little bit better. Okay, I feel like it's time to dry again a little bit. I'm sorry, this video is getting a little long. I was hoping to be able to make it faster for you, but I like to take my time and play around with the center. So it takes a little bit longer. I feel like I need some blue, so I'm going to use some Monsoon. And I have this brush that has a little bit of gold on it from before. I'll just use that one. Let's see what happens when I add some blue now. This brush was kind of dried up from before. I think I'm gonna have to add a little alcohol in here and maybe get a cleaner brush. Alcohol. So if you have something you don't like, you can kind of dot over it. But just keep adding in whatever colors you think look pretty together. I'm kind of liking this. I could just play all day. As a matter of fact, I probably will. I like the blue. I think I want more. Just keep adding a little more alcohol. Try and work it up the sides. I hope you can see that. Work it up the sides and work in the dried up stuff from before. There we go. This is kind of fun with all these colors. Anyway, I think you get the idea. You can have metallic if you want. That one I did earlier had a little bit of gold in it. I'm kind of liking this without though. This is very stained glassy looking in the middle to me. Kind of want a little more blue right in there. Uh-oh, that one's gonna get big. If you see one of your dots starting to spread big, you can hit it with some air and try and dry it. Oops, sorry. That's kind of fun. Anyway, I think you get the idea, and goodness knows I've been talking long enough here. Let me see if I bring that up. I'm hoping that stays in focus so you can see. If I rotate the paper around a little bit, hopefully the light will hit the different colors well enough for you to see them. Hopefully there's not a terrible glare from my little light. Anyway, I think it's a lot of fun, and I could do it all day, and I hope that you think it's fun too, and I'd love to see some of the pictures you guys make using this method if you like it, and I'm sure you'll make things far better than I. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day.